Good, how are you?
Good. Uh, okay. Stressed a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
because the Barbie movie came out and my daughter is a princess. And people know that she's a princess. She knows she's a princess.
Mhm.
I ordered a dress from JC Penney. I used my PayPal account to pay for it. It used my old address to send this dress, and I
Oh,
wasn't
no.
able to intercept it in time. They're sold out of this dress. Now I got to figure out, they're sold out of this dress. So now I have to figure out what to do about this princess. So that is what I'm about to have to. I have to find a Barbie dress.
Uh, I'm so glad I'm not a mom, but I love hearing moms who care so much about the happiness of their children. Like, it just warms my heart whenever you talk about your kids. But I also, I couldn't do it, but I appreciate
Man,
the women who do.
I didn't know that this would be my life because I'm always in tank tops and workout clothes. My first child is a boy. He wears
Uh-huh.
clothes that are clean. He doesn't care what he wears.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, we got a bunch of
So,
people.
hi, Mel. Good morning,
Hi.
Burbies. There are so
Hi,
many eyeballs.
Barbie.
I have Burbies. We have a name.
Oh,
And
Barbie. I thought you were saying Barbie. I was like, "Okay, that's what we're doing, okay." But
no,
Birdies,
no,
that's
they're the
great, I love
Burbies.
that. Okay.
Yes. Um, it's crazy. I have a name for the women's in my collab, but it's crazy. There's already 20 women here, and I don't know if you can see the chat, but they're like, "Hello, hello, hello." So
Mhm.
hey, everybody. If you guys are not following Mel, please make sure to follow her. She is a firecracker. She's blowing up on TikTok, but we're working on her YouTube presence more. Um, okay. Now, the two of us both went viral on this whole wedding cake brouhaha. And, it is very interesting, to say the least, to look at the commentary regarding it. How, and you have talked about this, how women's humiliation is so funny, and how the family gaslights the women, and
Mhm.
how the men just like, oh, it's just a prank. You guys just can't take a joke.
It's
So,
never just jokes.
so
Never.
I this is a softball. I'm teeing it up to you. Go ahead and
Well, okay, when it comes to the jokes thing, I mean, I'm literally a comedian. Like, I, like, went to comedy school or whatever in New York and have been doing this stuff for a long time, so, like, I have a sense of humor, and I understand comedy. First of all, men are usually not funny anyway, but a lot of times their humor is about degrading women. They
right,
punch down, right? And
right,
so many of these men, again, a lot of times they just marry to somebody because they're just looking for someone to do stuff for them, a means to an end, rather than like a person that's actually a fully formed three-dimensional human being in their life, right? But a lot of them, like I've said in my videos, like they just want like a live-in nerd. A lot of them are just bullies and they're just reliving their high school years, or they're like, cool, I got someone I can play pranks on all the time, humiliate all the time. Like they just love pranks. And it's like, so I actually want to give an example of this because my husband played like a soft, tiny little prank on me once in the beginning. And it wasn't really a prank. It was during confinement. In France, we were on like crazy lockdown, right? Like literally police checking permission slips and stuff. So we went to the grocery store once every 3 weeks and bought like hundreds of dollars worth of food. And we got to the checkout and he goes, "Oh no, I forgot my credit card." And I was like, and he goes, "No, no, I'm just kidding." And I was like, "Don't ever do that again." And he was like, "I'm so sorry." And I was like, "I need you to understand, anything that makes me feel like my sense of security is threatened, that's not funny to me. It literally
right,
sends me into a trigger response." And he was like, "Noted. Never did it again. Never." He never makes jokes about that stuff. He knows why, right? But
right,
and so it's not like, men are perfect, but like he understands that the last thing he wants to do is traumatize his wife, hurt my feelings, do any of that stuff because he actually loves me. But men who are just like, oh my God, and they think of these pranks. Like I have one of my relatives will think of a prank for a whole year, and that's his yearly prank on her. Do you think he's planning vacations for her and romantic dates? Like, is he putting that energy into loving her or
Right.
humiliating her? Guess what? She's divorcing him now. Good for her.
So,
You know.
okay. Number one, y'all, I have 45 people on my live. Go ahead and hit the like button, y'all. Go ahead
Mhm,
and help us get this into the algorithm. But it's so challenging to understand why you would want why they can't just be a little bit vulnerable even within their own home. Like, I can
mhm,
understand you don't want to show your softness, your cuddly side to the outside world, but in private too, like, why do you have to humiliate your spouse, your loved one in public, I mean in your home as well?
mhm,
What is up with this?
mhm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if a man is like, well, first of all, sometimes they humiliate you in front of people, which is even worse. But if they're just doing it between the two of you, like there's so much behind that that it's like, first of all, it just reeks of insecurity. And I'm sure you'd agree with me on this. The insecure man is the most well. I don't know if you've ever made videos on this, but to me, an insecure man is the most dangerous person on the planet, right? Because that they're going to
Right.
take out that insecurity on everybody, and it may be, if they become president, they're like a sociopath who tries to end the world, or even if it's just in their home, right? But they are like insecure men. They don't love themselves, if or even like themselves. So someone's going to pay for that because they have the power, they have the violence, they have the indoctrination of patriarchy and capitalism, white supremacy, and all that stuff. It's all about domination, right? So if they
Right.
don't love themselves, then they're gonna like feed that sense of wanting to dominate, you know? And so an unhealed, insecure man, I have learned the hard way, but almost losing my life to one is literally the most dangerous thing you can do is attach your wagon or hit your whatever, like enmesh yourself with somebody like that. They'll ruin your life and they'll pull you down, you know?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I just right before this live, I just posted something about Kelly Clarkson and these women, like, we see so many examples of doing the wrong thing. And there's no right and wrong in love, I guess, but there are red flags consistently. And
Mhm.
why is it so challenging for us as women to actually have some standards, be okay with being single, and, just live? Like, why are the peen havers such a prize to where
Hello.
it's just like, I am going to get me one of these regardless? Because we see what happens on the back end. When they make less money, they're insecure. If they
Mhm.
show you, and then once they are insecure, that is like, okay, then we're just going to blow everything up. We're
Mhm.
not going to clean up. We're just going to make a mess and leave it there. And
Mhm.
it, like, there's so many examples.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, I do think that as I understand now why this is why I have a lot of empathy for women who end up with terrible partners. I was with some terrible partners, and I actually and this is why I do this work, is because part of it is healing your own trauma. Usually your family trauma. Usually it has something to do with dad or stepdad or even mom, but it has something usually to do with family. But then also it's about education. I didn't know what the red flags were. I didn't know that a man who competed with me, who played pranks on me, who did all of these things that you and I talk about, that's a major red flag that I should pay attention to because I saw some of these red flags with that really crazy man who almost took my life, and I literally was like, "Yeah, but, like, what's the worst that could happen?" Like, I just kept
Right,
making excuses for it, and I also
right,
didn't have an example of a healthy relationship. I mean,
right,
I didn't grow up with that example. I didn't even know what it looked like, so when you don't know what it looks like, you just think that it's normal, and you don't even question it, which is why especially this is why I think it's important to follow divorced women because they have lived experiences of like what to look for. Married women who are in healthy partnerships, because then you have an example of like what to maybe aim towards or the standard. Um, like the whole spectrum, we can learn so much from each other from our experiences, you know. But I used to judge women who would date. I was like, why didn't she just leave? You know, all the classic crap. And then I was in that situation. I was like, oh, a lot easier said than done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so hard. I do not like all of the victim blaming, the gaslighting of women
Hmm.
because honestly, just like religion, we
Yeah.
are socialized to turn off our brains when it
Mhm,
comes to men and authority figures. We're
mhm.
taught to turn off our brains and that's the reason why um patriarchy and religion are so linked. They're basically the
Yeah,
same. And as
yep.
more of us decenter religion, it's easier
Mhm,
to deprogram from these messages because we are like, when you get into the comment section and they're like, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she just
mhm,
leave? Why didn't she just leave? But also, why can't she take a joke? It's just
mhm,
funny. It's just like there's so many mixed messages in what we get wrong, but
mhm,
taught, I'm sorry, we're taught to turn off our discernment.
mhm,
And then we're blamed when we get it wrong. It's like,
mhm,
this is the reason why we have got to stop um, listening to them so much. And what's crazy is, yes, guys, both me and Mel are married.
mhm.
Both of us are married. I have been married. It'll be 10 years in December. And what is crazy is so many people, they gaslight us one way or another. If you're
Yeah,
married, you're not supposed to talk about this stuff. If
yeah,
you're divorced, you're bitter. So don't listen to those women.
yeah,
If you're single, you don't have anything to say because what do you know about relationships?
yeah,
So this is
exactly.
just a reminder that yes, I am a strong willed, opinionated, and assertive woman, and I'm married to a man. And I'm still able to be assertive, opinionated, and for the longest time before I became a content creator, I was a stay-at-home wife and mom, period. So it's possible. But
Mhm,
yes, we have to keep speaking these things no matter what our perspective is, and just tell people what your perspective is. I'm coming from the perspective of a woman in a healthy relationship where my opinions are validated, and you have your own perspective where you're coming from is like, yes, I'm in a healing journey where my perspective needs to be validated, but yes, you're not crazy, ladies, for feeling this way. So
mhm.
I'm teeing it back up to you.
Yeah, and actually, I wanted so when this kind of leads me into someone asked me to address this when I posted on the community and YouTube that we were going live. Someone had a few questions and like asked if I could answer one of them, and I think that this is a really important one. Is so decentering men is a big part of you and I's goal here. And she was like, and asked something. I'm sorry, I'm not quoting it directly. It's not in front of me, but how can you decenter men in a marriage? Is that even possible? And the way I answer that is actually, I had already lived a life of decentering men because I just tapped out. I have learned how to decenter men more in marriage because I have to deal with a man all the time. And it's not even him, it's coming from within me. And so
Right.
what you don't even realize until you are in relation with one on a daily basis and living with one is how much of this stuff is in me, indoctrinated deep within me. Cause I literally will find myself being like, I mean, luckily Anthony knows me so well and he knows this journey I'm on. He regularly, at least once a day, has to go, center yourself, babe. What do you want? How do you feel? What do you need? Forget about me, forget about them, and and forget about what you think everyone wants you to do. What do you want? It's not like that scene in the notebook. What do you want? You know what I mean? But he has to say that regularly, even though I hate the notebook. I've done videos about that. But because it is my default is to be like, what do they? What do they, he, they, and a lot of times it's projection. It's not even true. I assume that he wants something of me, and it's not at all what he wants, right? I almost flew back to the US for all of October and spent all of our savings because I thought I should, because they want that's what a good daughter does, or good, you know what I mean? And then I realized because of him and my best friend Liz, who also helps me center myself, was like, "Do you even wanna go?" And I was like, "No." I could actually, like, I'm not in a place to go right now, and I'm literally doing
Right.
it because of what I think I should do based on
Right.
all of this stuff in me, right? And so even it like, I'm with a man who does not want me to center him, and yet it's in me. I'm, like, fighting myself and, like, my trauma responses of, like, being raised by a narcissist man and by all of the things that happened to me before to just default to everyone but myself. And so for me, part of the decentering men process is to getting really learning how to trust my intuition, not my ego, not my brain, not my trauma responses, because those are all very strong and they're yelling into a bullhorn all the time and they have a Harvard law degree. My intuition is very quiet, it's very consistent, and it's
Yes.
always right. It's always right. But listening to it is so hard because I gaslight myself on the regular. So,
Yeah.
yes, it is possible to decenter men in a marriage. And if I wasn't decentering men, I would blow up this marriage immediately because I would become someone that he didn't marry. He married an independent woman who's smart and funny and creative and has all these ambitions. And if I stopped being that way, he he he'd be like, "Who is this? Who are you? Who do you know?" And he even saw me go back to that when I went back home and was around my family. He was like, "Oh my God, where'd my wife go?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're acting like a 12-year-old. Like, who is this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you're right. I'm literally becoming old Melanie, codependent Melanie." Um, it's that indoctrination, those trauma responses, the nervous system, all these things are kind of keep pushing, and so it takes daily work on myself,
Yes.
and having a strong community to remind me of who I am when I want to or just kind of become untethered, you know?
So Trisha just said we got to get middle school girls to learn this, and
Mhm.
I completely agree. Um, Number one, I got a quick story. My kids, I just got them into taekwondo, and my 6-year-old, my daughter, is loud. They're supposed to do stuff like kicking punches, be like, 1, 2,
Yeah.
and she'll be like, "Yes, sir, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am." She is loud.
I
And
love it.
I embracing myself because my 6-year-old is so loud. And I'm I am like, in my brain, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's loud," but I do not say
Mhm.
anything because I
Yeah.
want my daughter to be loud. I want her to
Yeah.
be able to take up space and speak her mind and whatever. I am not going to silence her because for so long, I have to remember that we have been silenced.
Mhm.
Everything that we want to do, like, we can't have opinions. We're supposed to be meek and mild. And here this little girl is, and she's just like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, mom, quiet
Yeah.
myself because my daughter is going to be that megaphone that changes things. So let me
Mhm.
let me just
Yeah.
let her keep being loud because we have got to get to that point where we are perfectly fine with women and girls being assertive. She has an assertive
Mhm.
mommy. She has not seen anything else except for opinionated mommy.
Mhm.
So why would I try to dull that in her? So I just wanted to share that with y'all.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make these girls be quiet and sit in
Mhm.
the back and kowtow to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because I mean, I don't have kids, but I have 3 nieces and a nephew, and I catch myself. Yeah, and this is where that internalized patriarchy is, where if my nieces like one of them, I think all kids go through this stage where they're obsessed with poop. Like every joke is about poop, and and this part of me, and I was raised in the South, right? So all this stuff is extreme there, right? And so when I hear them talking about poop, I'm like, I wanna police them and be like, "No, that's not," and I'm like, "No, no, no, like, why boys are allowed to be gross, why can't girls be gross?" Like, I mean, and all of these ways that I keep wanting to manage the girls and let the boys just run wild. My nephew he has a free pass, and that kind of is like the video that you stitched with me yesterday about this live. That's why I'm saying, like, you know, um parents and including mothers have such a huge influence on their kids, and if they're not also deconstructing this stuff, it's going to come out. And they're
Yes.
gonna and that cycle of violence and the cycle of patriarchy, the whole system is just gonna keep going. And so I was a nanny for a while, and I constantly was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, where did that come from?" I'm like, these thoughts will come into my head of like, and I catch them. I'm like, that seems weird. And so then I'd like you, I stop myself from reinforcing patriarchy on these poor kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And it takes a level of acknowledgement, like, and that's the reason why in a lot of my videos, and I know I put out a lot of videos every day. Sorry,
me
y'all,
too.
not sorry, because
Yeah.
we have been programmed with so many messages that it's literally going to take us talking about boundaries,
Mhm.
self-love, self-care, saying no. It's going to take like 2 generations of
Mhm.
us talking about saying no is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
How stop giving more than you have. Stop,
Mhm.
like, just sit down. It's going to take
Mhm.
2 generations. It's going to take my daughter, it's going to take her daughter if she has kids. It's going to
Mhm.
take 2 generations to deprogram where
Yep.
we are right now, where we just give, 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 and the next thing you know, we're battling autoimmune disease, we're battling
Mhm.
obesity related diseases because we can't take care of ourselves. We're
Mhm.
battling so much because we don't have time to give to ourselves, so everybody else is just taken here, taken here.
Mhm.
They're taken from everywhere, and we don't have anything left for ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I remember. I think it was several months ago. One of your, I think I stitched it actually. It was one of my favorite videos that you did. I know you talk about this a lot, but I remember this one particular one of all of pouring into ourselves. That's the first time I heard you talk about pouring into ourselves because we pour into everyone else. And it's like, yeah, you have nothing to give if you have an empty well anyway. And, that's why, like, for single women, I always suggest, like, date yourself. If you don't know how to like date yourself and treat yourself well, then you won't, then you have nothing to compare the way men treat you to. Right. Like, that's what I really had to date myself for a long time so that when I did start dating, and I was like, wait a second, I'm like literally taking myself on dates and this person isn't, like, what? Like, and at that point, because I was got really good at pouring into myself, then anything that was not that level was a threat to my peace, a threat to my good life, right? Because yeah, like, it's because this stuff is so deep in me. I knew that I was like had some codependent, but was very codependent, and if I just let anyone into my life, I would start pouring into them. And if that person is not healthy, they're not going to pour anything back, and they're going to be a vampire and literally
Yep,
the life out of me, and I'll become a
yep,
shell of a human being who doesn't even know herself, don't even know what I like, because everything's about them, right? And that's what we're just conditioned to do. Like, patriarchy wants men to be the individual, and then women to be all codependent. So we don't even know what we want, what we like. And that's why one of my favorite things to see is like women, and after they divorce a man, and they did, like, some of my single mom friends, they are living the best lives. They are like, they are more available and more fun than any of the single women I know. I mean, like, the single women who are not divorced, like even the younger single women, because they're like, I'm free, and they would get into all kinds of stuff that they never even. They're taking flying plane classes, and you know what I mean. They're like stuff that
right,
they never
right.
had time to explore because everything was about him. He's the sun and they're just a planet orbiting around him. He's the motorcycle and they're
Oh,
just a sidecar on his little adventure.
so while okay, y'all, this is a shameless plug, and it's not even shameless because this is why I do this work. I have my books, Ashy Men Will
Yeah.
Make You Fat, and we're about to start shipping because we got a workbook that goes along with it. It's just,
Oh, a workbook. I
to
didn't
do
even know
some
you had a
work,
workbook.
but
Oh, wow.
we're waiting to get more of the workbooks so I can start shipping and the shipping materials. So I know I am saying that because this matches. And I know people, and if you guys want to get a book, bourbonbougieshop.com, bourbonbougieshop.com. They're going to start shipping out soon. And I use this title, Ashy Men Will Make You Fat, because I know that the title is grabbing, but
Mhm.
I'm not trying to poop on bigger body people. It's just what we are talking about. Ashy men, when you have these type of men in your life, they suck your life force. They increase your cortisol level.
Mhm.
You start feeding into them and forget to nourish yourself. And so next
Mhm.
thing you know, 10 years from now, you've gained 50 pounds, stress, your hair's falling out in places, your skin, you're looking old and overwhelmed, all because you allowed an ashy, dusty, homosexual, whatever, to come into your life and suck your life force. And so
Mhm.
I wrote this book, but when I wrote this book, it was mostly because it was from me typing things on social media. And
Mhm.
then I'm like, I should just make this into a book. It's not a big book. I'm not a New York Times bestseller. I am not male an author, but we do need to start targeting younger people. We need
Mhm.
to start putting that into the atmosphere. And once we women start pulling back a little bit, it's going to make them have to come up because then
Mhm.
they're going to have to actually cook for themselves. They're going to
Mhm.
figure out that the water bottles don't pick themselves up. They're going to figure out that the toilet seat doesn't wipe itself.
Yep.
so, so that
Mhm.
is a shameless plug, y'all. Ashy Men Will Make You Fat. You can find it on bourbonbougieshop.com. That's our Shopify store. We're going to start shipping soon. So jump
That's
in.
awesome. And I mean, so Lorraine, she's one of our mutuals. She was like a pharmacist, and so she chimed in. I did a live with her, and she was like, "No, this is for real. These men are killing us. They're killing us with their nervous system through autoimmune disease, through cancer." And I firmly believe that men who just exploit you and drain you and emotionally, just keep wearing on you and your confidence and are just obsessed with themselves and their selfishness. That stuff is so draining. And especially if they have a temper, right? Walking on eggshells around a man, and a man will manipulate women with their temper all the time. They're like have so much fun out in the world. And the minute they come home, they're in a bad mood. And that is intentional. That is to keep that upper hand. That is to manipulate you, right? And walking around and tiptoeing around an angry man or a moody man will
Yeah.
slowly kill you. Your nervous system can't handle that for decades. And then also, a lot of men, their sleep, they snore, they have all kinds of stuff. And women, like so many women, don't even realize that they should ask those men to sleep in another room. Like so many of us don't even realize that we can and should create boundaries, like one by one, if not just like completely leave them, but like literally be like, no, I'm not sleeping this night. You're literally taking years off my life. I need sleep. I
Right.
need, you know what I mean? This stuff is killing us. And I think it's sometimes even worse if there's no physical scars because it's invisible, right? If you have bruises all over you, you have to explain those bruises. You have like evidence. But what these men do to us that's invisible is so deadly. And ashy men will not only make you fat, they'll kill you
Yeah.
without laying a hand on you. They don't even have to touch you to kill you. They will literally take 10, 15, 20 years out. So much cancer and autoimmune diseases is literally about being stressed all the time. Who's bringing that stress? It's men. You know what I mean? That's why I
So
care so much about this. This is life and death. This isn't just about happy marriage versus like, marriage is hard. No, it's not. Marriage is not hard. Life is hard. Marriage is not hard. I mean, it has challenging moments because,
right.
you're dealing with someone else and you are two different people, but marriage itself should be cooperative. It's a collaboration. You are on the same team. And if it's super hard, it's probably not always, probably because he's making it hard on you,
Right.
you know? I think you're reading the comments right now. I'm sure people have a lot to say.
I
I
know,
can't
I
read them fast
know.
enough.
Yeah, we these comment sections, They are blowing up. I'm
Mhm,
excited that people are waking up on a Saturday and jumping on our lives. And what
mhm,
is very interesting, me and you have had honestly a short lifetime span on
mhm.
YouTube, but
Yeah,
we're going to be impactful. And
yeah.
this is the reason why they keep trying to pull us down, because if we keep creating these dialogues where women
Mhm,
are like, no, boundaries, take care of yourself. Imagine what the world is going to look like when these men actually have to participate in their
mhm,
own lives. I'm not even saying men participate, go and, start organizations and do all of the stuff. I'm not even telling men to do all of that stuff. If they
mhm,
participate in their own lives to the point where women are not having to supplement, like moms
mhm,
having to supplement because they got a single dad, and so his mama does the daughter's hair, or,
mhm,
cousins helping out. Men get a lot of help when they need it. So if we
mhm,
just get to the point where men have to participate in their own life, our
mhm.
lives will change.
Yeah, and that reminds me of another thing that I point I try to make a lot is like it's not my job to teach men. It's not my job to change men. I can't change men. Part of my journey with my own codependency is realizing that it doesn't matter what I do, I can't change them, and it's not my job. However, what I can do is change my own behavior and change what I allow them to do to me, right? And say no to things, right? And it's like I can't change them, but I can change a dynamic with them by not enabling them. And part of my codependency is that I just enable men to just be terrible people. So if I say no more, I may not change him, but I can change my own life. And yeah, maybe he'll go find someone else to do it too. But if more women who just say, no, no, I'm not going to let you do that to me. I'm not going to pay your car payments for you. I'm not going to let you move into my house when we just started dating and then you're never leave. Like my ex, that hobo sexual that I had literally moved into my house while I was on family vacation and then I couldn't get him out. Right? Like
Yeah,
these men, they are parasites if they don't work on themselves, if they're not deconstructing patriarchy and really doing the inner work, they're just parasites. So let's cut off the source, you know, because
right.
we're the source.
We're the source. I need to jump in, Mel. You have got to get with somebody to create you a logo about no king baby, because
Yeah,
you will
I'm
make some
currently working
money.
with somebody. I
They are
am.
saying that they want a hoodie for fall. So you
Okay,
need
yeah,
to find,
I'm
I
actually
know
I'm
you,
working on that right now. I'm working with a brand woman, and we're kind of working slowly because I want to be very intentional about things. But I am actually really soon going to come out with a ringtone because I was like, that would be fun. Because when I was dating, I there was this breadcrumb guy. I swear to God, I kept changing his name on my phone. First, it was like his name, and then it was like I changed it to "This guy doesn't like you," and then that wasn't good enough. So I was like, "This guy hates you," and then and then I was like, "No, maybe he likes you." I literally changed his name all the time because I needed a reminder from my higher self every time he tried to contact me. What the truth was, right? And so finally, when I finally cut him off, I renamed him No 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 No. That was it. And what I realized is like and this is what men have no problem making money off of women. There's a creator on TikTok who is apparently a predator and he makes feminist content, and I looked at his page and I was like, look at this man, he's got ringtones and all kinds of stuff. Why? I'm like, here I am, like a content creator trying to figure out how to have the time to make content because this stuff does not pay well, right? And I'm like, this guy is no problem. So I was like, a ringtone that was like, something like, hey, he doesn't like you, or King Baby's calling, or something like that. People keep asking me to do that, and I'm like, I guess if they want that, I should do that because I'm so afraid of being like exploitative or whatever. But if people want that, like, why would I not do that? So I am working on it, the merch and
okay,
stuff. But the ringtone thing, I think, is going to come sooner than later because that's just fun, and that's actually what I used. It wasn't a ringtone, but it was renaming men because I needed that reminder from like
right.
Big Sister Melanie that this guy sucks.
Yes.
you know?
And for the people on the live, yes, recognize that we do pour our energy into this to create this content for you. So if you guys want to support the content, if you want to support me, I am at $ bourbon bougie if anybody just wants to donate. And I'll let Melanie, Melanie, do you have a Cash App just in case you want to put it out there
Yeah,
if
yeah,
anybody
I
wants to
have.
support?
Yeah, thank you. I have Cash App, I have Venmo and PayPal, and they're all in my link tree. So just link tree Melanie Hamlet. Um, or if you just Google Melanie Hamlet link tree, Hamlet's with two T's, it'll come up. And I think that's I haven't memorized my usernames for all those, but I'm pretty sure it's Melanie Hamlet or Mel Hamlet. I should know this stuff. And I'm even afraid to mention in any of my videos what my PayPal or Cash App is because I don't want people to think that I'm exploiting. And yet men will be like, "Hey," they're like they
That's
just
what,
feel
yes.
entitled to.
Men will make
I need
money
to.
off of us, but we
They do
don't
all
want to
the
say,
time.
hey, you can support me. You can support me. I look, $ bourbon bougie, just like my
Hmm.
name on YouTube. And we gotta be better about that because
Yeah.
the people that showed up, there are 149 people on here. Y'all go
Oh my
ahead, please
gosh.
smash the like button. There are so many
Wow.
women on here that showed up for us. So
Hmm.
somebody must want to support us in something. So,
Yeah.
even if it is watching a few of our videos, we appreciate that. But we definitely appreciate the other gifts. Okay,
Yeah, and
but
actually, yesterday, I get this comment. I don't know if you get comments like this a lot. I think maybe because I'm a lot of my I do such random content. Sometimes it's very personal, sometimes it's more a cultural analysis and stuff. Like sometimes it's about critiquing Sex in the City or whatever. I do all kinds of stuff. But whenever I talk about domestic violence and these stories that I tell, they take a lot from me. Like sometimes I'm so triggered after I tell these stories that my husband has to pay the price of me telling these stories. I'm so traumatized because I forgot how awful it was. And then when I have it reflected back at me from people who are like, "Oh my god, that happened to me." And they're like, "I'm so sorry that happened." It's like, "Oh right. This happened to me. I'm not just like a journalist or a comedian or a storyteller. I am the person this happened to." And so like yesterday someone sent me like $200 on PayPal and was like, "I've been in therapy for 30 years, and your story about the medieval festival about reliving trauma and the way you told that story literally made 30 years of therapy all click for me with that one story." And I was like, "That's why I'm doing this work. That's why I'm doing this work." Like, yes, I it's hard to recall all this stuff, but I do believe that storytelling, whether you're talking
yes,
about someone else's story or your own story, is is the key to freedom because I listen to things when I relate to them and I'm connecting dots. But if someone's just like, "Don't do this, don't do that," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, but like, it just doesn't hit in the gut the way stories do."
yeah.
Um, so yeah, like I forget to the whole thing of like really valuing myself. I did it in my relationships and I did it in all these other areas. And right now it's about taking myself seriously and really valuing the work I'm doing because apparently it's pretty important. I've got like 100,000 followers on TikTok who are like, "You're changing my life." And I'm like, "Really? Oh yeah,
Right,
I
right.
guess this stuff is I mean, I spend all day every day doing this. I don't even take days off, which is probably I need to work on that, right? But and yet when people wanna, like, pay me for it, I'm like, "Really? Do I deserve it?" And it's like, "Yeah, girl, you're in so much debt because of men." Like, let people give you stuff if they want to. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how men just this is so
Right.
natural for them to be like, "I deserve this." And then women, a lot of times, we're like, "I don't know. Is it weird?" Like, God, it's like, it drives me crazy how deep this stuff is, you know? Ah!
And I do want to point out, hi Tanya TKO. Tanya TKO, if you don't know her, she is on my live on our live right now. And she has been a blogger for more than a decade. And she's always talking about self-love. And she said that we need to do a round table. So if I can get a
Oh,
round table set up with
yeah,
some women's and Tanya TKO, who already has a built-in network. Um, imagine like we're all doing these things in our own little bubble, but
yeah,
as we keep broadcasting louder and
yeah.
bigger, we're going to really blow up and we deserve it. We
Mhm.
deserve it. We deserve to be able to rest sometime and stop creating such a wonderful, comfy space for these people that are supposedly the providers and can hunt lions and work on an oil rig. They talk about all the things that they do, the oil rig and hunting a lion. Well, why can't you clean the toilet too then?
Yeah, yeah, that's why, like, one of the most it's like, it's insulting at this point that they call themselves the providers and protectors. It's like, providers of what? Stress? Labor? Like, you don't provide anything, you literally take. You're takers. And protectors of what? Yourself and other men? Because that's the only thing you protect. Like, literally, the men who love us are usually the most dangerous too. That's the whole thing about straight. Like, I talk about this a lot, like the whole time I was like, stranger danger. The men who've hurt me the most are the ones who claim to love me. Those are the ones who did the most damage in my life. So, the best thing that my mom ever did was not date. After my dad left, she didn't date because
Yeah.
she didn't want some other man in the house messing us up. And so she because chances are it would be just another person like my dad, so she centered herself and her children. So that was what I grew up with, and that if I had grown up with my dad in the house, you would not be talking to me right now. I'd probably be dead because I probably would have dated a really abusive man who, like, you know what I mean, like, I would not be. Thank God I had one role model who was like me and my kids, not these men, not the king babies, um which is another reason why, like, I hate it when women only stay for the kids, right? Like, if you can leave and you're just staying for the kids. If I'd had that role modeled of my mom bowing to the king baby all the time, I would not be the woman I am right now. I would
Yeah.
not. Or it would have taken me a lot longer to I would have had a lot more to undo,
Yeah.
unlearn, because again, the church, patriarchy, all the systems, school, like media, everyone is literally telling us, do get married, men are But yeah, I would love to do a roundtable with you and a bunch because I think all of our voices really. Like, I learned so much from you. I learned so much from all my mutuals, and we all have very
Yes.
unique experiences, and yet at the same time, they're kind of the same sometimes. There's
Yes.
crossover, you know?
Yes. So that is where I am because we all take a different, like a slightly different lane to get to things.
Yeah.
And I have been examining the birth rate trends globally.
Mhm.
Literally, women globally
Yeah.
are tired.
Yeah.
Women's is tired. And
Mhm.
guys, yes, me and Mel talk to Shar all the time. And
Yeah.
actually we talk to Jules as well. So we
Yeah.
could probably get Shar, Jules, all
Yeah.
of these people. I talked to Candace Kelly. It's so crazy that I talk to all these people. I don't know the Queen Maker. I don't know her yet. She's I know who she is, but I don't know her yet. But yes, I'm gonna see if I can make this happen. But
Oh,
all of
divorce to
us are
dollars. That's
talking,
Lorraine.
and I
Oh,
think that
sorry,
that has
Serena.
helped us grow so quickly because it's all relatable. Because for too long, and you know this, media and books have been written by men, and
Mhm.
from their perspective, they demonize women like us. We would have been a witch, 200 a year, 100
Yeah.
years ago. I would
Yeah.
have been a witch. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Me too.
You could have been a witch, maybe a cat. I don't know, but
Absolutely a witch. Yeah.
so they don't want us talking because this is what happens when we start talking. When we start talking and start talking to all these other people, I'm like, me too, girl. I'd rather
Mhm.
live in a van than to live with a man again. I'd rather
Mhm.
so.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, someone just mentioned divorce to dollars. So Lorraine, we should get Lorraine in on that because she has so much great stuff to say too. Your mutuals with Lorraine, right?
Huh? Yeah, I know
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got Lorraine. It's so crazy that I know these people. Yes,
Hmm.
we do need to talk. But it's
Yeah.
like if we put too many of us on one stage or one panel, that might
Yeah.
be doing too much because all of
Yeah.
us can talk.
Yeah.
There's not a quiet woman amongst all of us.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we should limit it and, kind of, or like tap in and tap out, like I'll go in this one. Cause then there's also Therese. There's so many great women I know that
Right.
I mean, and that's why I
That
like
that's the
doing live
reason why
stream.
I've been pulling y'all like week by week. I need to bring Shar back because I haven't had her on for a couple of months. But
Hmm.
we pull each other. We gotta just keep collabing and creating. I'm gonna create a membership. I'm gonna create a membership, and we're gonna go live an hour a week or something. And thanks, y'all. I mean, oh my goodness. Thanks, Lady Nubia. Thank you, Natural Beauty Queen, for the donation. I
Oh, look at
appreciate
that.
that. Um, yes, we'll create something. You guys are asking for it. You guys are jumping in these comment sections like no other. And what I'll also do is put a post on my community post and let you guys ask the questions because I'm missing so many of this chat because I'm talking to my rambunctious, loud friend
Yeah.
Mel, and then y'all are typing away.
I know I don't have time to read. I'm kind of catching in there, and it's just the way it comes up on my screen. It's like it goes too fast. But um, yeah, I need to start doing the community posts more, which you told me about. Like I'm still like learning YouTube. I figured out TikTok, and now I'm trying to learn YouTube, and I want to put more energy to YouTube because like I think I gave you the metaphor yesterday. Like TikTok is like a jet ski, and it's fun and exciting and it's crazy, but it's not stable. You know what I mean? And here it
Yeah.
feels like the cruise ship. It's like consistent and stable, and it's slow going, but it's like got a massive, you know what I mean? Like so, and my husband's helping me. He understands YouTube more than me, and this stuff is really it's I do try to read all the comments, and I learn so much from the comments. I'm sure you do too. And that's why
Yes.
sometimes, and I wish I could respond to all of them because I'm like, some of the comments are life-changing perspectives, and I understand that not everybody is a content creator because this is a lot of pressure. It's also,
Yes.
like, how when I talked about men's hobbies and how they exploit women with their hobbies and abuse women with their hobbies, the men came after me, literally stalking me for
They
2
really
weeks.
attacked.
They
So
went crazy, and that's how I know I hit a truth. When I talk about women dating younger men, I mean, I literally was in the tabloids because of that one, because that Glamour article I wrote. And then when I talk about men's hobbies, those are the 2 things that just, and that's how I know it's true. They know
s
it's true. Whenever
right.
the more upset they get about something that I say and literally are like threatening my life, finding me on Instagram, and I had to turn my page private for a while. And I was like, okay, well, cool. Now I know I need to talk about this because y'all are so upset by this because I just
Yes.
exposed your butt. I just exposed the thing that you were trying to, you know what I mean? And the same with dating younger men. Like they've been telling us this whole time we're gonna hit a wall and no man will want us, we're gonna die alone with cats, blah, blah, blah. It's not us, it's all projection. It's them. They're the ones, they
Right.
don't take care of themselves, they age poorly, like they can't function in the bedroom, they can't function anywhere. And then younger men love us. Right. And I've been told my whole life that no one will want me. And then that's why when I wrote that piece for Glamour and then it blew up, the men, God, they, "Oh, you look 65." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay.
So,
Okay,
but
Craig."
the men are in competition with the younger men because
Yeah.
let's be for real. We all know that these men, their expiration date, as Candace Kelly was talking about, their expiration date, they're barely making it. This generation of right now, they're going to struggle to get to 60. And
Mhm.
so they talk about their prime is in their 40s. So that's when, or their mid 40s, that's when they want to settle down. But by that time, they got, they got the pregnancy belly, they got the man boobs, they got the pressure, they got the sugar, they got all these things going, and now they want to
Pressure.
settle down. And now they want to get someone that's 15, 20 years younger. Why would I, as a 21-year-old, want a pawpaw? Tell me that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Not only
So
that,
that's the
the thing
reason why
that's
they don't
ironic.
want you talking about getting a
Yeah.
young man because now they are competing with these young men. Because if I
Mhm,
am in my 20s, I want a man that's in my 20s and can keep up with me. And
mhm.
ladies, this is exact another reason why. And I know that this might not even match, but you need to get in shape so that you can go for a run with one of these men, and you need to be able to live. So you got to build up your cardio. But we need to be able to see if we can go for a mile run and see if he lives. So let's go for a mile run with these men. We're not just testing if they, their bankruptcy and all that, their emotional intelligence. You need to see if they can run a mile and live.
Mhm.
All right. So,
So one of this is what drives me crazy is when I dated this man who was 9 years younger than me, and I called him grandpa because I ran circles around this man, 9 years younger than me, and he's still like doesn't have energy, and they're just sticks in the mud. A lot of them, like so many women I know, we have unlimited amount of energy, because we have to. And so why would we date an old man? Right? Because again, they don't take care of themselves and they turn us into hospice wives, and then a lot of times steal our money too while they're doing that, and our time and our labor. Remember that I think you commented on it, or maybe you made a post on it, that that one woman who got dragged in the media because she left her husband who had like some sort of cancer or something. But she was 24 when she married him and he was like 40, and then he got
right.
cancer like right away. It's not that he had cancer, it was that he was a total douche. When he had cancer, he wasn't grateful to
Oh,
her, he was so mean to her, she was like, "This sucks," and she tried to take care of him for a while, and then finally she was like realized that she was like, schmoocidal from taking care of this man, and so she left to save her life, and everyone judged her, and then guess what he did? He found another woman to marry him and take care of him until he died. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I saw that as a success story. This man won't take care of himself, and then you're providing care for him, and he still has the audacity to be a jerk, and he's
right.
taking years off of your life, and he's wearing you down, and he married you, you're 24 and you're 40. Like that already reeks of like exploitation, and like kind of they love younger women, right? Um, and so I thought that was a success story. I'm like, good for her. But in the media, they were like, of course, the things that they're saying, right? Like, selfish, blah. Whereas men do that
Right.
all the time. 6 times more likely to leave us if we get sick. Six
Right.
times more likely to leave us if we get sick. But we're supposed to stick with them, and then we feel like a burden, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I have a burden story in me where I'm always like, I don't know, I feel bad. Anytime my husband does something amazing for me, I'm like, I have to fight my own instinct to be like, "Are you sure?" Instead, I'm just like, I embrace it. Yeah, I take it, but it's that burden story runs so deep in me that when we get sick, we feel like we can't even ask for help, where they just
Right.
feel entitled to it and will literally parasitically suck the life out of us while we take care of them, and then are total jerks. You know, the
So,
audacity.
let me jump in here real quick. Thank you, Cheeky Chick, for the donation. Thank you, Dark Skinned Gentlewoman, for the donation. I appreciate it. I do have to tell y'all that when I do these lives on Saturday, I have to do a hard stop because
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
kids are
You
in
got
swim
stuff to do.
lessons. The
Yeah,
kids
swim
are in
lesson.
swim lessons, so I got to get off of here and prep for the day in about 6 minutes. But I appreciate all of y'all hitting like for jumping on. Mel's YouTube is Melanie Hamlet on YouTube. Um, she said you can find her link tree and it'll have her, and she needs to figure out how to just say her cash app. But go
I think it's
ahead.
Melanie Hamlet. Just I'm pretty sure it is. I wish I could look at it on my phone right now, but I can't because I'm doing this.
um, so so I appreciate y'all jumping on because this has been a lively chat. So this chat has been so lively that it tells me that yes, my Saturday mornings need to include y'all from 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And what we are going to do, ladies, we're going to concentrate on push-ups, core work, and running because we're going to be testing these men's in their running and their cardio because we need to figure out if they will live if they have to run a 5K. So, um,
I've heard of a lot. People are always like, "What are your red flags? What are your lists?" And I was like, "Well, there is no real list because men are always going to find a way to get there. But there are certain things. But making them run, I've never heard of that. That's Brilliant.
But this is where having women from different lifestyles come into play.
Yeah.
I was a personal trainer before, and so it just comes to my mind that yes, they need a functionality test. We need to make sure that their hearts are working the way they should. They've been doing all this these people smoke weed and they drink and they do too much. So
Mhm.
if they can't run a mile, what's your sex life gonna be like? I
Mhm.
mean, will they have the stamina to bring the groceries in when they start participating in your life? So
Mhm. Man, I love these lives with you. I'm so glad I was out of town and things were kind of in the way, but we should definitely make it this a consistent thing. And I love the round table, so just message me, let me know. I'm always interested in collaborating with
Yeah,
you. So.
I'm gonna bring folks on, and like somebody in the chat says, sometimes collaborating can muddy the waters. So maybe I will do just like here and there, just one or two
Hmm.
people at a time,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we all have our own platforms,
yeah.
and so I do not want to create a catty situation or anything like that.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes having two, because I hosted lives on my TikTok with like 5 people, and it's fun, but also like if you don't have a moderator or somebody who's kind of helping, just like any panel at anything, there's usually a moderator or someone who's asking questions. But if it's just live, it's just like 5 of us, like just like so excited to talk that I could see it being a little chaotic. So maybe a small, like 2 or 3, maybe, or
It
whatever.
would be too long. I think that these 1 hour lives are cool because people
Hmm.
know that what they're going to get. They know I'm going to start on time. I start on time and I have to end on time for a reason.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, three is a
yeah.
good
Which is good.
number. Okay. And, if I know it's going to be an hour, I want to make sure everybody will have a chance to talk.
Yeah, trying to
Um,
catch up in comments, but
I know I
uh,
really wish I
do
didn't
these
have to hang
comments
up on y'all,
do
but
these comments show up on you're gonna even post this video on your YouTube, or how does that work?
next time, y'all, I'll do the StreamYard because
Okay.
when there is a StreamYard and I just touch the comments, they pop
Hmm.
up. So,
Yeah,
because I don't know if these comments are going to stay here because this is where our content comes from these comments, and so
I
I got to.
know.
Oh, someone says when you replay it, you can see the comments. Okay. You can
Okay,
review
cool.
comments after the live post. Okay, cool, cool. They will s-
Okay.
they will
Okay,
stay.
I'll go back
Thank
and
y'all.
read these.
Because you guys know that me and Melanie are new to this game. So we're still learning all of this. So basically just to review before we get off, Melanie is going to bless us with some King Baby merchandise. I'm thinking that a crown falling off of a baby or something like that, she'll get us that.
Yeah.
And me saying, everybody, we're going to get in shape because we are testing the hearts and the lungs of people because we got to shake the withering trees. I'll be back with somebody next Saturday at 9 a.m. So y'all be here 9 a.m. Melanie, say the last words that you want to say.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure. Duh. Oh my god. Okay, that's too much pressure. That's too much pressure. I wasn't ready for that. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me. This is super fun. And I hope some of y'all follow my page because, if you like this conversation, this is the kind of stuff I talk about on my page. So,
All right, y'all. I'll see you guys when I post all the videos that I'll be posting today because y'all know that I'll be posting videos. All
hmm.
right.
Okay.
Overthrow King Baby. That's our new.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Get out of this thing now. There it is.